With when it comes to working with Kirk Cousins, your son, the quarterback's coach, or Kevin, what just overall a global view of working with Kirk, what he does well, and what do you need to help him work through?
Well, you made a great point there. First off, it's our job to find out what he does best, and we got to make sure that's what we're doing. So, you don't try to push something on a player. And Kirk obviously is an extremely accurate player. He's proven that throughout his career. He plays really well on the move and play pass and those type of things. So Kevin knows Kirk better than Clint and I. We're getting there with him because we spent a lot of time with him. But between the three of us, there's a lot of good information and minds to be there and help him. But the bottom line is we got to make him comfortable and go do what he does best on game day.
Well, I mean, you played the position. You worked with Steve Young, won Super Bowls, head coach, won a Super. I mean, you know as much about the quarterback spot, honestly, as anybody we've had around here in quite some time. So, I mean, you probably know better than anybody. You can have the nice arm. You can be smart. You can put in the time. But you have to have something inside of you when those proverbial bullets begin to fire that not everybody has. And that's key, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's situational football in this business where the 2 minutes or hanging on to a lead in the last 4 minutes and you're trusting your quarterback. But the bottom line is he's got to be able to handle situational football. You've got to trust him and stay aggressive. You can never get, you have to find ways to be aggressive in this league and make some big plays. And when they're not there, you got to be patient. So Kirk's got all them tools. And like I said, we continue each and every day to find those things that we think he does best and make sure that we're doing those well.
Gary Kubiak, 9 to noon, 4-time Super Bowl champion, 7 Super Bowls in total. Just as an overall look, whether you won or you lost, how hard is it getting to the Super Bowl?
Well, it's extremely hard. I mean, first off, you got to have a good team, and then you got to have a little luck along the way. I mean, there are a lot of close games in the National Football League, getting used to winning those games, making the plays that are the difference. There's an old saying that, the difference between winning 7 games in this league and winning 12 is usually about 4 or 5 plays a year. I mean, it's just that type of league. So you got to get your mindset and be ready to play in those games. Know that you can win 3 ways: offensively, defensively, special teams. And Zim does a great job of sending that message every day to the team.
When you had Peyton Manning, what was his arm strength like?
Well, Peyton was in his last year when I had him, so I got to coach him that last year. He was fine. He could still do it. He had a problem with his foot. He missed 7 weeks, so we had to battle with Brock as our backup and start 7 games for us. But that's the mark of a good team. You're going to have problems, and how you survive problems and how you get to the end of the year and get your team in position to go be the best for 1 month. I would say that's a kind of an art. You got to figure that out and find out how to get there.
Well, and certainly no guarantees for the Vikings and the offense and into 2019. No yardage, points totals. Well, that'll play itself out. But whether it's Schaub and Arian Foster with you coaching in Houston, coordinating for John Harbaugh in Baltimore with Flacco and Justin Forsett, it just seems there's something with the way you and now Kevin are going to do it, where it's had productivity, but not necessarily Hall of Fame type players. Is that accurate, and what makes it so good?
I think that gets to believing in your system and what you're doing. I mean, hey, we've all got to have great players to be successful, but you have to go out there and believe in something. If you're going to be a physical football team, establish a run, you can't talk about those things. You've got to go do those things. So our message is being sent every day, exactly what we want to look like, and we've got the people that have the ability to go out there and make it look really good.
But from a scheming standpoint, Gary, I mean, we can envision this slow rolling flow of the offensive line, stretch handoffs, quarterback rolls out, play action, somebody's wide open other side of the field. But that's not the only part, right? I mean, you can't run just one thing all the time.
Absolutely. I mean, in this league, sometimes you show up on game day and people put eight in the box, and you better, you may have to throw it 45 times. Other times maybe that's not the case. So, I mean, you got to do what you need to do that day to win. So, and you have to have the confidence that you can do those things. So you don't. It's that old saying, there's not just one way for my team to be successful. We can beat you a lot of ways. So that's a mentality, and I think Coach does a great job of sending that mentality to his football team every day.
Now that you've worked with Adam Thielen basically on a daily basis from OTAs, I mean, that close to him, what do you think of him?
He's special. I mean, first off, every great player I've ever been around, great receiver, been around Jerry Rice, Rod Smith, some of these, and Andre Johnson, they're all workers. I mean, y'all watch him. I mean, the kid comes out here, and from the minute he steps on the field until he goes in, he's 100 miles an hour. They all want to be coached no matter how long they play. They want to know, hey, how can I get better? And that's what he is. And, having Diggs on the other side makes us balanced. A lot of teams aren't balanced from that standpoint. So that enables us to hopefully keep people from rolling this way a lot and keep us even-keeled in what we're doing.
So when the preferred five are playing on the offensive line, inside you and Kevin have used Elflein at left guard, Brad Berry at center, new guy Klein at right guard. Now you have second-year guy O'Neal at right tackle. I know he's nicked up now. So if the perception is you're a little smallish inside and you got a bully ball straight forward to get a few yards, do you and Kevin feel that's something the offense can do?
Yes, I do. And, the thing that's going to help us do that if we can get people to run. When you run zone schemes, you're stretching the field. You're working toward the sidelines, trying to get people to displace. So that's got to help you when it's time to go downhill on 4th and 1 and find a way to make it work. But it's a very unselfish group. We asked, to be honest with you got to give Pat a lot of credit. We said, hey, Pat, we're going to move you. And we got this young center coming here. We want you to buy into that. And it didn't take long because Garrett's such a very mature young kid. So they're all in place. We need to keep them all healthy, get through this training camp with them all healthy, but we're heading in the right direction.
Last one, Green Bay's new head coach, Matt LaFleur. I believe he was your offensive quality control guy in Houston, 08 and 09. What do you remember about Matt?
Well, he's a smart young man. I had him and Kyle Shanahan on the same staff when I was there in Houston, but time flies. It makes me feel old. But Matt's a good young football coach. Obviously, that's a big job in Green Bay, and we'll see him a couple times this year. But he's a fine young football coach. What a tremendous opportunity at a young age.
Well, you want to see him succeed because you know him and you're fond of him, but you obviously don't want to see Green Bay win a million games.
You go. Hopefully at least not twice a year.
But if anybody knows about starting as a head coach, it would be you.
Yeah.
So, how difficult is that as a first-year head coach running the whole thing?
Well, I'll go back to the old saying, you can't, you think you're ready to be a head coach, but until you get thrown in the fire, you just have no idea what it entails. There's just so many more things for you to worry about. I'm sitting here watching a great one right here. For me as a head coach, when I had to stop in Baltimore watching John work and sitting in the back of the room again, that was a big plus for me. And for me to come in here and watch Zim run his football team every day makes me a better football coach every day.
Great having you on the show. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Gary Kubiak. Tom West, thank you very much.